love. We've covered the love and the food, but I just got to compliment you because what you've shared with us there reminds me that, you know, the best analogy I've ever had for us human beings, for people, is that we're like seeds. And what does a seed need in nature, right? It just needs the right environment. And I'm just getting a sense, you know, what you've created there is exactly that. It's the right environment for people to remember, to wake up, to be inspired, to be fed, to be filled up, and to be overflowing in a way like you are now, to be able to have more to share, more to give, more energy, more love, more inspiration. So I really got to commend you, man, because I know it doesn't come easy.
Oh, man. You could ask her about that. It doesn't come easy. But what's easy, nobody wants. And what doesn't come easy, everybody wants. So you have to find the worth in everything. You know, we literally, I don't know, we have, the deli is just a storefront location, but we own every bit of our business. The delivery service is owned by us. The actual people that produce, the production facility is owned by us. So until the client gets whatever it is that he gets, it's in our hands, and we make sure that it's in the best hands, you know.
Press on, man. Absolutely support this mindset coming to food of all things, right? I mean, it's probably one of the most intimate, precious connections we have with ourselves and each other, right? When we literally do get to taste the love that someone else has prepared for us. So now love, speaking of love, like, where did you guys meet? It sounds like maybe it was through food itself. Can you share some of that story of how you guys started to grow together?
I want to let Tracey take the mic from here. Go ahead, love. I get excited every time you tell a story.
Oh, goodness. Well, actually, we met, and it was not through food, Timothy. We actually met. You heard him talk about his trainer, my trainer, who was his business partner. The way the world works, right, is kind of strange, but I was walking past this gym one day because I wanted some Jamaican food. I wanted some oxtails, right? I love oxtails. Haven't had it in a long time. Thank you, Hoya. But I love oxtails. So anyway, I was going over here to get these oxtails, and on my way back, walking past the gym, was me and my son Josiah. The guy that worked in the gym, or that owned the gym that I know now, came out. He's like, you know, well, what are you getting ready to eat? And I said, well, I'm getting ready to eat these oxtails. And he's like, well, when are you gonna, you know, when are you gonna get on a workout regimen? Like, just kind of making small talk about it, right? I said, you know what? The truth is, I actually need to do that because I've been thinking about it. And I see this place driving past, you know, taking my son to and from school every day, but I just have not stopped in. You know, I'm walking past the gym to get the oxtails, but I just have not stopped in the gym. So we set an appointment, and I came back and we spoke for a couple of hours and realized that, you know, we saw things alike. He was a business owner, and we talked about a lot of things outside of just me being a client of his at the gym, right? Just life and energy and spirituality and so many different things. And so I started going to the gym, right? I started going every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That was last year sometime. And so that was my routine. I would go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after taking my son from school, dropping him off, and that was it. Well, this one particular day, I think we stopped in there. It was later. Me and one of my girlfriends, I wanted her to meet my trainer. Right. So we go in to hang out with him, and he wasn't there at the time. So we went next door to another business. Well, when we came out of that business, he was coming in and he had Hoya with him. Right. And never seen him before, anything like that. And I was like, oh, well, he's kind of cute. But, you know, we just kind of left it at that. And so they asked my name, and I said Tracey. And then I asked him what was his name. And he said, you know, his whole name, right? I was like, I don't even know how to say that. Say it again. He said it again. I'm like, I don't know what that is. He's like, just call me King. Just call me King. And I said, okay. So that's how we met. And we went into the gym. We just kind of sat and talked a little bit at that time. And he was drawing, you know, like I told you, he's an artist, and he was sketching some stuff in a sketchbook. He wasn't really that talkative. He wasn't talking, you know, over the top or anything. But you know, just we shared a few words or whatever. And that was that, you know. And then when we left, I told my girlfriend, I said, he's cute, but I think he's going to be trouble. You know, guys like that, I just try to leave those guys alone because it's too much mess, Timothy, too much mess. I don't know how many women he's got everywhere else. I didn't want to be bothered, so I just left it alone. And then, so that had to be like, like a Tuesday or Wednesday or something. Maybe like a Tuesday. And then by Saturday of that same week, my trainer called me. No, he texted me. He texted me and said, hey, you know, Kim wanted to know if he could take you to, if you wanted to go to a comedy show, right? He was leaving that next week on a Thursday, right? So he wanted to know if he could, if you wanted to go to a comedy show or not. And I was like, well, yeah, that'd be fine. And so that's what we started to plan doing, right? And then I didn't hear from him. I didn't hear from him on the rest of, no, that's not true. Saturday night, he texted me, right? Because Tori, who's my trainer, gave him my phone number. And so I believe he texted me and said he couldn't do it that night because whatever, things were kind of hectic. Let's try for the next day, which was Sunday. So Sunday came along, Timothy, no Hoya. Monday came along, Timothy, no Hoya. Tuesday came along, Timothy, no Hoya. Wednesday comes along, Timothy, and I go to the gym. Now, when I went to the gym on Monday, I didn't say anything to Tori about it because, you know, that's his friend, and I didn't want to, you know, even just, I figured it was just dead. But by Wednesday, I'm thinking, well, the man is leaving on tomorrow. And I just kind of wanted to know, like, did something happen? Like, what happened? And so he gave me a little story. Yes, some things kind of took place. His brother missed his flight, running around to do. I said, well, do you think I should call him? And he says, yeah, I really do. You know, he's not that type of guy. I really do think you should just call him. I just think he may have missed it and maybe he felt a certain type of way and he just, you know, didn't reach out. So I called. I did. So I called on that Wednesday and had to go to a networking event. And I said, well, hey, do you want to go with me to this networking event? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to go. And he got a ride and was dropped off to my house. We went to the networking event. That had to be like, what, about 3 or 4 in the afternoon or something like that. And literally that whole rest of that day until about 1 o'clock in the morning, we talked and talked and talked. We went to a place, a little restaurant, and sat down and we talked and talked and talked. And we walked around a place here in Atlanta called Atlantic Station and talked and talked and talked. And then I was getting ready to drop him back off to his aunt's house, which is where he was staying. And he's like, man, I don't want to leave. Like, I don't want to go back home, you know, tomorrow. And would you mind taking me to the airport? Right. So we can talk some more. So I said, okay, that's fine. So the next day on Thursday, I dropped Josiah off and then swung by to get him, took him to the airport, and we talked and talked and talked and talked. And that was it. He got on a flight and went back to Israel. So we didn't even have a full 24 hours, really, maybe 12, right? No, maybe 20 hours total, right? Before, from the time that we actually went out to the time he got on a plane. And then from that point forward, we literally we talked on the phone or Skype. Well, we did Skype and then we realized, oh, we both got iPhones, we can do FaceTime. And we literally did that for 2 months, like religiously, every single day, a couple times a day. All day. Yeah. He was, you know, working on stuff with the deli at that time. And, you know, I'm doing what I'm doing over here on the internet and with the baby. And we made the time to talk and get to know each other and, you know, found out, I think you mentioned in our interview, Timothy, that, you know, there's cross-cultural, right? So we were definitely cross-cultural. We celebrated different things I've heard of, he's never heard about, things he's heard of, I've never heard about. And we started sharing those types of experiences and, you know, belief patterns and this and that. And just growing affinity for one another that I said, well, you know, my birthday is coming up in November. So this was September, right? This was September when we met. And so my birthday's coming up in November. And I would like to come over there for my birthday. You know, is that okay? He's like, man, yeah, it'll be great. Come on over, hang out. And so booked the flight and went over there in November, the end of November, which is right around the 60-day mark that we had even known each other, right? And was over there for about 10 days and got a chance to hang out and spend a lot of time Israel and, you know, do some traveling and some sightseeing and go on something that they call a sacred visit, where you go and you tour all these different, you know, holy places and the history behind all the places and all this stuff. And we did all that. I met his family, his brothers, his mother, his father, close friends of the family, his grandmother, right? I mean, just everybody that was dear and near to him. He introduced me to these people. Right? And I was
a celebrity over here. She ain't telling the whole story. She's leaving some parts out. She was a celebrity over here. I had to tell people, listen, calm down. Tracey ain't having no more visitors.
Now what is interesting, there are some people that he knew that had actually knew of me because of the internet and had purchased my book from Amazon, right? So when we did a Facebook Live, when I was there, one of the young ladies that he knew contacted him and said, oh my goodness, can you bring her over? I have her book, right? Well, she autographed my book. And I'm thinking, what? And we went over to this girl's house. Right? We got the book, and he knew this girl because they grew up together, but she knew me from the internet. And to me, that was one of the most amazing things when we talk about having a global business and reaching across the waters in the world, that I'm over here in Atlanta doing my thing. And a young lady over in Israel who lives literally down the street from his mom, right, had my book, knew exactly who I was, and wanted to meet me in person. I thought that was so awesome. One of the most humbling experiences, because it wasn't an event, right? It's not like she came to an event and this was a company something. It was literally, she was at her own environment. I was just visiting. And so that was pretty cool. And then with his mom, she has a book that her mother had published in reference to healthy eating and things like that. I think my copy is, I'll grab it when Hoya starts back talking, but, and I'm like, man, you got a few of these books. Let's see if we can sell some of these books on the internet, right? And his mom, she's like, oh, no, I'm not getting on the internet. And look how I look. And, oh, my hair, my scarf, my whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm like, EE-mah, we can do this. EE-mah is the way you say mother in Hebrew, right? So I'm like, EE-mah, no, you can do this. We can do this. She said, okay, well, we practiced. I said, so we practiced a few of the questions I would ask her and how she would answer them. And then we agreed it was going to be go time. So Hoya held the phone and she and I sat on her bed and we talked about, the book. We talked about all of the principles behind it and the meaning that her mother had and her purpose for writing the book. And it's very similar to what Hoya talked about in reference to bringing life back, bringing health back to the community. But it was just from a written form, right? But his whole family is like this, right? This is not just him. This is them, right? So his grandmother, who's since passed away, his mother has taken on the charge of that. We do a Facebook Live and we sold like 4 books on the internet. Right. And she was like, oh, my God. So I brought the books back with me. And I said, listen, if you guys buy these books before I leave, because this was the night before I was leaving to come back to the States, I will make sure that that she autographs them and I'll bring them back with me. And then I'll deliver them to you or I'll mail them to you when I get back to the States. And we did that. And so that was one of those experiences from there that I think also contributed to her being such a huge part of their deli, right? I mean, Hoya can tell you more about that, but just, I guess, her seeing that she could actually sell stuff to people that she didn't know through a relationship of a person that she met because her son was dating this person, like that's a lot, right? And to sell an idea and a mission to people on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, I think was eye-opening for her, right? I can't say
I think this is my turn to take over the
okay,
stage.
Go ahead.
You've had it and you've carried it well for the whole time, but I just want to flatter you a little more because you think I'm dating you, but she has no idea that she was sent to me, like literally heaven sent, because I've never seen my mother do something like that. My mother, like she said, she's shy. She won't get on Facebook. For some reason, the elders in the community think Facebook is just wrong. It's wrong. It was created for all wrong reasons. However, they're sneaking on Facebook to keep up what's going on with the deli. you know. So literally, she pushed my EE-mah, my mother, to believe in her dream. My mother is 48, I believe, and everybody asks this is my girlfriend when we're in the streets, but still, she pushed her to believe that her dream still matters. You know, my grandmother was one of the pioneers for veganism within our community that we were raised in. However, my mom, she understudied her and she knows everything about that. So her being a big part of getting this deli off the ground, like Tracey said, was super important. And Tracey came over here just in time to fuel her up for the job that she's doing today. And EE-mah is doing an amazing job. I mean, she works about 20 hours a day, but she gets the job done. These people love all of this food that that comes from, you know, down there at the factory. So
now this is the same woman who, Timothy, I told you was cooking for me every day while I was there. Right now, she's one of the major suppliers of the deli. All of that wonderful food that I was eating at her kitchen table, her dining room table, is now being supplied to all of the patrons and all the people that come through the Taste of Life, right? So the expansion just that fast, right?
That fast.
Yeah, of that type
like
of eating.
Tracey always says, she said that the speed of implementation. It's about the speed of implementation, because when you, this is the soul of an entrepreneur. Nobody else have to believe in the vision but you. But if you believe it solely, then everybody else will believe it because you believe it. There's no negative spirit on it. And one of my mentors, his name is Myron Golden, he told me, he said, everything I do works because I don't put no energy on it that won't work. Why would it not work? You know, this is what people do. Man, that's a good idea. But then they start thinking about all the barriers to stop them from making that happen. That's about the stupidest thing you can do. You just killed your own dream, shot it in the head. And it could have been $1 million dream, $1 billion dream. Your parents will be proud of you. But you think about it and then you say, you let that first thought that come in your head, nah, it ain't gonna happen. Just keep working the job. Just keep getting up, doing the same old routines that normal people do. I mean, I'm not normal. I like to consider myself as abnormal because that's the way I see myself. I was made in a unique way, just like everybody else in the world. You were made for a certain purpose. You wake up the day that you find out what that purpose was.
Okay, so when did that occur for you? If you look back on that story that you shared with us, like, was there a moment, was there a time, a scene, a place, a thing that happened that was that wake up for you, Hoya?
Definitely. I believe, you know, as an entrepreneur, you have so many setbacks. You try to think about the one that was the most difficult to talk about. So many setbacks. I realized that each setback was preparation for a greater comeback. So my greatest setback was probably my easiest setback, my first job. Let's take it back there. My first job was probably my greatest setback, which was my greatest. It was my greatest setback, but it was my easiest setback because it taught me everything and one lesson. I came to work, which I worked 30 minutes from the city that I lived in, and my on time to work was always 5 minutes late because everybody else lived in the same city. And that was regulated. Everything was cool till one day I came and the floor manager, he's going off on somebody. And then he says, you, why you late? And then he tells me, turn around. He's telling me to go home. So I just got my tired self up, 4 o'clock in the morning, went into the bakery, and then 8 o'clock in the morning, come to work. And usually I go to the military base and then I come to work. So that was my schedule. 4 hours of sleep. Then I had to put in some hours in the bakery, make sure that my community is taken care of for the day. Then I had to serve the country, which was duty. If you don't, then you go to jail. and then I could support my dream. This is why I don't take excuses from people, because when you want to get it done, don't tell me Tracey, what's my motto there? I don't sleep, I don't get tired, because I do sleep and I get tired all the time, but I can never talk about it. So
yeah, we might be on FaceTime, and he's I don't never sleep, I don't never get tired, as he's dozing off in our conversation. I'm like, Hoya, I had to hang up the phone because he's falling asleep. You know, it's not a big deal, but so he really does sleep, but he just doesn't believe he's sleeping.
You don't have time to say. I mean, now sleep is an important part of life because it's balance again. Life is all about balance, and the key to balance is focus. So when you focus, then you do sleep. But you can't sleep on life. You can't oversleep. I got a little situation with my youngest brother right now. He wants the family entrepreneur spirit, but he can't seem to wake up to an alarm clock. So, you know, I said, man, how are we going to allow you to take over a family business and you can't make it to the meetings on time? You can't make it to see the workers at work. Like, I mean, I don't know if we should put the family business in your hand. Somebody might take it while you sleep. So this is I will, as a business owner, I believe that being first is getting up first and showing up first. I'll sleep here. And Tracey will tell you, why are you in there by yourself? You don't know. Yeah, I'm in here by myself because I got to make an example. I gotta lead the way in the right way. If you don't be the first one to pick up the broom and the dustpan, then you're not a business owner. I mean, go home. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question.
It does, right? I mean, like in some way being on the receiving end of that and experiencing what that was like for yourself. That sounds like that switched a role for you in yourself and also in your role with others, right? That it's almost like you had that message now to deliver.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing is about the relationship between me and Tracey. I believe that it stands on strong pillars because we have a clear understanding of who one another are. The night of my grand opening, she was sleepy, but she stayed on FaceTime with me the whole time, and that meant the world to me. You know, yeah, technically I got a lot of females that know me, but none of them were on FaceTime with me 10,000 miles away the night of my grand opening. A lot of them, it was New Year's, so a lot of them out, you know, doing what they do, and that's well and fine because she's important, right? However, that's how I knew that she was important and that she was she said we're dating. That's why I keep trying to tell you, you know, it's more than a date. To her, this is just a date, so it's cool. I mean, I don't even know how we're dating. We're not even in the same location, so. But a great partner.
Yeah, and a system, right? If I could bring that word in now, could you guys say anything about how are you as a couple implementing systems? What systems are helping you guys with this cross-cultural, with this long distance, different time zones? Can you share any of that?
Okay, what, you want me to go?
Okay. You know, I always look at you. You're my mentor. Go ahead. Take it.
I would say that, well, for one, because it is long distance, we do have to take advantage of the times that we have to communicate, which is a big part of any relationship in general, right? A lot of relationships don't make it because they don't communicate as much. And I think that one thing that Hoya and I probably have that is in our favor is, although we're not in the same location, it restricts us from a lot of the things that would allow us to bypass or rush through or omit when you're building a relationship with someone. So this is all we have is communication right now, unless I'm there or he's here. And so we utilize FaceTime more often now. I mean, we used to do, I mean, it's whatever. It's WhatsApp, right? If we're texting, it's WhatsApp. Sometimes it's Messenger or iMessage on the iPhone. Most times it's FaceTime. Sometimes it's just a physical phone call, right? Because he can call from over there to over here. Whatever it is, right? So we utilize our communication and our telecommunication systems and our visual communication systems to allow us to connect with one another and talk and still know what's going on, right? There may be times where we don't talk, maybe like a day. It doesn't really go past a day and a half, because by that point in time, it's like, all right, somebody needs to call. Right? So if it's a late night call, I'm calling or texting or vice versa. Or he might send me a wonderful text message, right? When I wake up in the morning, I see it. So he's like, hey, we didn't get a chance to talk, but all this, this wonderful message that he may have left to let me know he was still thinking about me and things like that. So it doesn't go, we don't miss any of those things, even though we may not sit on the couch every single day with one another, right? So we really just utilize that. Now, of course, the transportation system is important, right? Thank God for the airplane, because then I could fly over there, right? He'll be over here in a few weeks. It'll be some time that we'll be able to spend together in that way. Then we're planning to go to Puerto Rico in April. In May, I plan on going back over there for about a month or so, taking Josiah this time, and we'll stay for a little bit. And then we were, talking about going over to Egypt for a little while, and just doing some traveling and spending some time together during that season. So what may seem a little bit distant now, we hope to compress some of that.
We definitely don't compress. We're going to make up all of this time because we're doing the right things. You speak about a system. I think that me and her have found pointers to build this system. We actually we're looking to fill up the cup. We don't see it half empty. We literally see it half full. Just another month or just another week. I mean, she supports my dream. I'm stressed out over here at times. I mean, anybody would be. But just a phone call, like she said, after we don't talk for about a day and a half, a phone call from her is like a great massage, or whatever it may be mentally. And the mental is what the physical rely on. So I don't need for nothing. She got my cup overflowing. And I'm good. And sometimes when I realize that she needs attention, being the busy guy that I am, I don't complain. I just seek out to put more energy to make sure that her cup is overflowing as well.
Fantastic, guys. Yeah, you remind me when my own courting with my wife in a foreign land began, and I appreciated what you said, Tracey, as well. Right? It's almost a forced focus. It requires that you have certain hours of the day when you're both typically awake and not engaged in other things, and it almost condenses down the significance of the communication and the importance of it, and making sure that that these systems can support that.
We had a great time to build this system. I must remind her, and we could share this with you. I had sprained my leg when I got back to Israel, and we thought that was a bad thing, but it was actually a good thing because we got to work on our relationship. The foundation of this relationship was built on that sprained leg. We talked for years during that time. And I told her, I said, listen, love, I know everybody's sick of seeing me talk to you, and I talk to you, everybody in the background, but one day I'm going to be busy and we won't be able to talk like we talk now. And I won't have as much time, and we'll go some days without speaking. She's like, what are you talking about? Because we talk all the time, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, please, we up like teenagers for real. But that time did pass, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. But it did pass, and, the hard work and the daily days and building this place up to what it is today started taking place and still is taking place. And we don't have that time anymore. So I just get to look back and appreciate that time that we did have, and I could still thrive and get through the day off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a perfection to it, right? As you emphasized, Hoya, even when things go wrong, right? I've heard it said that if we can't see perfection, we're actually standing too close.
I love that. I love that.
So, right, with a little bit of time and a little bit of bigger picture experience, you're able to see, as you said so beautifully, right? The cup is full. It's full and it's filling, and it really, right? Our belief is anchored in that if we choose it to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, just really quickly before we move on to another aspect of this, there are times where he might be okay because he's in Tel Aviv now, right at the deli. But he told you he has the bakery that he runs that's like an hour and a half away south of Tel Aviv. So he's constantly driving back and forth from Tel Aviv to Dimona, you know, once a day, once every couple days, sometimes a couple times a day, right? Yeah. So that's a lot of driving and work, and he's up there doing business owner stuff, but then he's down in Dimona baking, getting that business going, helping the suppliers get that stuff. He's carrying stuff back, you know, right along with the delivery people and all this stuff. And there are times that he will literally open up his laptop computer, call me on FaceTime, and we're not even talking, right? I'm doing my work. He's baking in the bakery, an hour goes past, and we're just in each other's company, essentially, right? We're not talking, we're just working, but we're working together, right? Separately. And it's those types of moments too that are very, very special because it's, you know, I'm not demanding that he stop doing what he's doing to talk to me, and he's not demanding that I'm stop doing what I'm doing to talk to him. It's we're working, right? We're honoring each other's work ethic, but at the same time, we're not neglecting that, okay, we could actually just get on FaceTime and just watch each other work. It sounds crazy, but it's needed. It's helpful.
Yeah, that way she knows what my daily operations are like, and when I say I'm tired or when I say I'm sleepy, why? Because nobody wants to hear that you're tired and sleepy all the time. Yeah, I couldn't do that in past relationships. That was a no-no. Sleepy, I was always asleep. Like all I did was sleep. Like I'm some kind of bum that just sleeps. So again, with our system, and it's not perfect yet. We're still too close. You know, we got to step back a bit, like you said, and it will be perfect when I'm able to cater on the food. The food is being catered on a plane that me and her are jumping on. That's when the picture would be perfect for me. You know, when Timothy could tell me, hey, Hoya, I taste your lasagna. It was on a flight from I don't know where. You know, that's perfection to me because that's how far I dream. You know, so yeah, you know, our system. This is such a wonderful system, and I thank Tracey all the time. I think sometimes she don't understand why I'm thanking her so much. I've never had a partner that was so understanding. I think I'm a rough cookie. You know, I'm full of myself. I know what I'm doing, and sometimes you could be hard-headed when you know what you're doing and full of yourself. And she's just the perfect person to understand. She understands. She overstands.